WKCR actually was in this building for about 6 years. We did a lot of Ornette Coleman birthday broadcasts, one floor down. And there's a marvelous reverend in this church, and he was walking across what they call the sea level here, and there was music where it shouldn't have been by the regular practices. And he liked it, and he was smiling. And I know he's got a jazz heart, and I know he'll touch our heart with the eulogy. The Reverend Dr. James A. Forbes, Jr.
Thank you, Donato, for this privilege, this honor, not so much to speak, but to have the experience of learning about a man who actually is a musician and I'm a minister, and yet learning about him has ministered to me. And I want to say thank you for that. And I suspect that I am not the only one here today who could say that having gathered around this departing saint of soul, it's been, for some of you, you would prefer to say a spiritual experience, but I'm going to acknowledge it has actually been a religious experience for me just to hear what I've heard and to let me explain to you that what I am about to say has been informed because I don't like to speak out of the vacuum of ignorance. So I wanted to know a little bit more. I want to give thanks to what you sent me. I need to know what I'm talking about. And you sent me some very important information. I talked to Bob O'Mealy, who's put some stuff together about the cadence of jazz. Jerry Allen spoke to me a little bit about it. And Dwight Andrews, my friend down in Atlanta, talked to me about it. So what I say out of a conversation, but the conversation has been spiritually enriching to me. So will you pardon me now while I say a few words to Ornette? Ornette, in 1989, I came to be the senior minister of this congregation, the first African-American senior minister. And at the end of my sermon up there, I came and stood right here behind the screen. The screen was not there. And I told the congregation what my ministry was going to be about. And it came in the form of this poem. There's a song inside of me. I can hardly wait to see what it is I have to say or the music I will play. It's been so long in coming, first a thought, then some humming, but before I find my key, something stifles it in me. What keeps my song from being sung? Past hurts, deep fears, a timid tongue? What makes my freedom come so hard? A self-made live-in prison guard. Meanwhile, the song still groans in me. I am not me until my song is set free. Debating, hesitating, getting ready to sing. My song could die like a stillborn thing. Release your song, said the Spirit to me. Be free, it's Jubilee. Cast out each fearsome song patrol. Proclaim deliverance to your soul. The spirit of life now flowed through my blood. I said, yes, something broke. It came like a flood. Up from within and down from above. A kingdom built on the power of love. Thank God my song has been set free. The rhythm and the words are right for me, I'm finally ready to sing out strong. My soul is saying, this is my song. Now, don't you see, that's what his life has been trying to say to all of us. And in hearing it through him, it's as if I'm a homiletics professor and he's into homiletics, but you see, we're kind of together. He has lived out this meaning. And if there were to be a title to my presentation in the eulogy, it would be Getting to the Heart of the Matter. And it comes from Proverbs, which says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Ornette, man, let me tell you something. In working with you, I had such great resonance. I knew that you started playing in church, and then you played in the school, and then you played in clubs. But everywhere you played, there were song patrols trying to keep you from singing your song. Yes, you got in the band. I was in the band, man. I played E-flat clarinet and Stars and Stripes Forever. I remember they always called mine a squeakerphone. I was in there, and not only was that the fact, but when you played in New Orleans, they didn't like what you did to their stuff. You were attacked outside the club. Song patrols everywhere. And even in the professional world, people thought he's messing over our stuff. Is he crazy? I thank you. Yeah, I know. Listen, Ornette, I've been through that same thing. It is as if there is some sinister force in the universe that tries to keep people from singing the song that's inside of them. I've experienced it a number of times. Let me tell you, even when I was a pastor here in this church, I found out that there's song patrols around, but basically everywhere I go, it looks like, well, I remember my mother sending me to school at 5 years old, and when I kept passing back and forth around the house, she came out, I sent you to school, why are you still walking past the house? I said, Mama, I went down this corner and turned, and there was a dog standing on the sidewalk. You know, Mama, I'm scared of dogs. And I said, Mama, I went down this corner, and turned the corner, and there was, I said, Mama, there's a dog around every corner I turn. It was as if somehow there's always something trying to stop you. Let me put it this way. I recall that in all of the places I've tried to work, that something has tried to stop me from singing my song. In my own Pentecostal background, I grew up in a black Pentecostal church in the South. And they said, if you're gonna be a pastor in this church, you got to get the Holy Ghost and you got to speak in tongues. And so I couldn't quite get it like they wanted it. And then when I went to seminary, they said, man, you really got to publish. You haven't published enough. And then when I came to the church, well, you're a pretty good preacher, but you haven't administered as well. Listen to this. This is what I wrote, Ornette. I heard, prayed, believed, danced, sang, testified, prophesied, reconciled, sanctified, represented, and loved them. But they said, you have not spoken yet. I thought, read, discussed, preached, taught, counseled, consulted, traveled, collaborated, advocated, and honored their name. But they said, you have not written yet. I organized, strategized, budgetized, analyzed, prioritized, deputized, energized, improvised, publicized, authorized, and stabilized the institution. And they said, you did not manage well. And I wept. But the voice said, the great voice, I have spoken, I have written, and I am managing fairly well. And I said, it is enough. Everywhere you go, somebody's trying to block your song. But Ornette, you kept on telling us, hey, don't be intimidated. Don't get stuck in the rut of conventionality and routine. You kept telling us in your own way, release the song that's inside of you. Don't worry about his song. Let him play his song. Don't worry about her song. Let her sing her song. But you make sure that you release that song that's inside of you. Oh, Ornette, you were doing God's bidding in that. A message to you from God. Ornette, God wants you to know that although in the book of Genesis it said God worked for 6 days and then on the seventh day he took a rest, and theologians think that means that creation was over, said, I sent you into the world to show that you are a part of a continuing creation, because I only took the rest to get ready for the next beat. You understand that, don't you, Ornette? Then God told me another thing about you. He said, you got it. You got it, Ornette. He said, Elijah, bless his soul, thought that I could be categorized. Ellicott talks about beyond category. They said that God is going to pass by. And it was first of all going to be an earthquake, kaboom-a-loom. But God had been an earthquake, but not this time. And then there was wind. But God was not in the wind, but surely in the fire. The fire! The text says, but God was not in the fire. And in your church that you were brought up in, they would say there was a still small voice. But Ornette, the Lord wants you to know that that's really not what it said. The text, the Hebrew scholars say, it was the sound of sheer silence. That's what you kept talking about. How the greatest day will be when all of the sounds from all of the races will come and our voices will be still and there will be nothing but sound itself. And if we release our song will have contributed to the coming of that moment when sound is resonating in the cosmic spheres. If I listen well, I can almost hear it now. Well, I guess that's about enough to be said on this occasion. Everybody else has talked about who you were, your improvisation, your creativity, your experimentation, your exhortation to each one to do his or her thing, but learn how to do it in concert. I think that's what I call the I am choir. Each one of us saying out of the richness of our own integrity, I am, but learning how to I am it together. That seems to me to be what you were trying to get us to see. So now let me examine you, because he's hovering, waiting to see, did we get it? Let me tell you what I think it was, and then I will conclude sort of this way. What really matters in life? According to a poet whose name I do not know, but capturing the spirit of Ornette. Ready or not, someday it will all come to an end. There will be no more sunrises, no minutes, hours, or days. All the things we collected, whether treasured or forgotten, will pass to someone else. Our wealth, fame, temporal power will shrivel to irrelevance. It will not matter what we owned or what we were owed. Our grudges, resentments, frustrations, and jealousies will finally disappear. So too, our hopes, ambitions, plans, and to-do lists, the wins and losses that once seemed so important will fade away. It won't matter where you came from or what side of the tracks you lived on. It won't matter whether we were beautiful or brilliant. Even our gender or skin color will be irrelevant. So what will matter? How will the value of our days be measured? What will matter is not what we bought, but what we built. Not what we got, but what we gave. What will matter is not our success, but our significance. What will matter is not what we learned, but what we taught. What will matter is every act of integrity, compassion, courage, or sacrifice that enriched, empowered, or encouraged others to emulate our example. What will matter is not our competence, but our character. What will matter is not how many people we knew, but how many will feel a lasting loss when we are gone. What will matter is not our memories, but the memories that live in those who loved us. What will matter is how long we will be remembered, by whom and for what. Living a life that matters doesn't happen by accident. It's not a matter of circumstance, but of choice. And so, each of you, there's a song inside of you. And if you don't sing that song, the universe itself will be immeasurably diminished. Don't let any patrol get in the way of your singing your song, your lyrics, your style, your genre. Release that song. And the Spirit is encouraging you not to allow anything to rob you of the fullness and the satisfaction that comes when the God who made us say, now that's what I put in that one or that one. I'm going to close with a little song that I'm going to really sing even more courageously now that I've heard from Ornette. And this is the way it goes. Doesn't matter what goes on. Just like yesterday when the president made his speech down there, what a eulogy, what a eulogy. But he ended it with a song, and I got to sing mine too today. And this is it. I'm going to take heart and get moving, though the clouds hang heavy and gray. If I wait for blue-skied perfection, I'll be waiting till Judgment Day. Why let myself be held hostage, trapped and blocked by who knows what? Will standing still in sinking sand reverse my fate? Certainly not. I'm going to break out and risk living, though the reasons to wait still abound. I will do what I can in the climate of now, till better days roll around. So take heart, my sisters and brothers. Give your spirit a holiday. Away with the reasons delaying the season. Celebration is the order of the day. So take heart, my sisters and brothers. Give your spirit a holiday. Away with the reasons delaying the season. Celebration is the order of the day. I really mean it. Celebration is the order of the day.